Hello. Welcome back to You Are Not Alone. Our topic today is on body dysmorphia, and we have interviewed Alex Chaparro, who is a personal trainer. My name is Sina.
My name is Brandon.
My name's Cheyenne.
I'm Will. Nice to meet you.
So today's episode is going to be formatted the same way as last time. So we're just going to be playing the questions off of here and then just kind of bouncing off conversations from Alex Chaparro's answers. So to introduce our guest, which Sina interviewed, we're just going to play back some of his audio.
All right, guys. So my name is Alex Chaparro, and I'm 24 years old, and I'm an online fitness coach, and I help men and women get in the best shape possible and build confidence, and that's kind of what I've been doing for the past 6 months now. It's something that something new that I just took online, but I was a personal trainer at a gym for about 6 months. I didn't like it and decided to take everything online, and it's been very impactful, be able to help as many people, and it's something that I get a lot of fulfillment out of.
Awesome. So let's get started with the first question. How much of an impact does working out or general exercise have for your mental health?
Honestly, man, it's helped tremendously. I mean, even last year and, during COVID, how gym shut down and everything. I think that's when it was like that moment of realization. I didn't realize how much my mental health was benefiting from the gym because I kind of like I fell into some slight depression. You know what I mean? During those times, didn't work out. I gained a lot of weight and my mental health was just not up to par. Right. So when things started opening up, I didn't realize like how much it was like an escape, you know what I mean? And how much it really helped, relieve that stress and clear my head. And it's something that I think everyone should incorporate, you know what I mean? Some sort of exercise into their, daily routine.
I gotta agree with him. When everything did shut down because of COVID, like I've been working out for about 8 years now. And when I lost what I enjoy to do, it really affected me. And like you try to do different things, right? You try to do the workouts at home. You try to figure out other things to do outside. Like you try to figure out something to keep you motivated, but it was like it just never felt the same as going to the gym. And I know there's a lot of people out there who found new things and that's awesome for them, but for me who personally loves weightlifting, it was just something that I just couldn't like match up to par as weightlifting did to me, you know? Like I tried to run, not the best runner. I tried to do different sports. It just didn't ever feel the same again. Did it feel the same for anybody else?
Dude, I got hella depressed.
You
Like
did?
it sucked. Going from like working out, not like necessarily every day, but like every day, since like high school, and then all of a sudden it's close. Like, what do you do? I was mentally screwed up for a while. So much so that after like 6 months, I couldn't take it anymore. I went and bought like a whole home gym equipment. I couldn't take it anymore. Like I couldn't transition well. I needed like the gym. That's how much like I love the gym.
Yeah, and I think for me, I used to go to the gym and play basketball all the time. And when COVID was, hitting at its worst in the beginning, um, a lot of gyms closed, especially with contact sports, with contact anything really. I mean, everything was shut down in general, but that really stunted kind of my workouts that I did because I wasn't somebody who would go to the gym so much so regularly, so that like I would like do regular workouts. I would just go there, get my cardio in, play some basketball, and yeah, when COVID came through, it just stopped. It halted all that for me.
Pretty much said the same thing too, Cheyenne. When all the gyms closed, because I think during that time I was over in the city, staying there for a while. Um, it just kind of sucked just being stuck inside all the time. Because I know, like over in Chicago, they put like an enforcement out that you couldn't be out at a certain time. If you're caught at a certain time, you would get fined, and the fine was honestly ridiculous. But
That
like,
sucks.
I know it was terrible.
That's
There was
crazy.
some that I heard it was running up to like close like $200. It was crazy. But like just not able to go
Wow.
to the gym because like I'm not a type of person who doesn't work out as you can see on my body, but like I would but like I would do just basically kind of like running, just big running down the court, working like my 1-2 work, my type and all that type of stuff. And it's just like when that was taken away from me. It was just more, it's just, what do I do now? I just sat there inside, pondered, and then over time, like, kind of just diminished my mind little by little, and kind of like almost drove me to a little bit of insanity because it was like I couldn't do this anymore because like as humans, like we want to be able to do things. We wanted to get out, go outside, able to move around, be free, but just being isolated into one is just not. It wasn't it. It honestly, it wasn't it.
No, and that totally makes sense. And then we'll get to up to the next question. How does someone find the right form of exercise to help better their mental health?
So I think that choosing, obviously there's different formats of exercise and it all comes down to, what you really enjoy the most, right? Because I mean, cardio and strength training, they both release endorphins, right? They give you the uplifting mood, they clear that head, relieve that stress. So kind of, find what works best for you, right? So whether that be, doing a little bit like 30 minutes of cardio or strength training, you know what I mean, boxing, it could be anything, any types of sort of exercise that would kind of, like I said, release those endorphins and kind of, clear that headspace. And I think a lot of people will benefit a lot from that.
This is one of the most important things to understand. As people who enjoy working out, you got to find what works best for you. Or I like to say your cup of tea. Because I might like green tea, he might like black tea, he might like a different type of tea. We
I don't
all
like tea.
enjoy. Huh?
I
Or
don't
you,
like
you
tea.
you may not even like tea, to be honest. However, what works for me might not work for you. I love weightlifting, might not work for you. I know people who run. I hate running. I I absolutely despite running. It's not the at all the workout for me. But I know people who get the runner's high and they say it's absolutely something I just can't get over. I love it so much. And that's awesome because finding your own cup of tea is one of the most powerful pushes of not only your mental health, but finding an awesome exercise for yourself, something that you find new, something that you might like to do.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
There
There
is
really is.
so much. There's so many different types of exercises that I could sit here and name them off for at least I can't okay, can't name them off, but there's just so many out there and you just got to find what's right for you. Just keep trying. Just don't stop trying. Like if weightlifting sucks, fine. If running sucks, fine. Swimming sucks, fine. Just find your cup of tea. That's going to be my last point.
Think that's well said. So we'll get into the next question, and we asked him. So, can you create certain exercise routines to battle certain disorders? Does cardio work better? Weightlifting, and so on.
I guess I would like to put in more like a general category because, like I said, I haven't really had experience with like powerlifting or Olympic lifting, like you were saying. But I think any some sort of physical activity and kind of incorporating that and kind of trial through error, right? So if strength training is something that you really don't gravitate towards, don't really enjoy as much, then maybe do some cardio, maybe do some boxing. Like I said, there's different activities that you can experiment with and just kind of see what brings the most fulfillment. I think that's what's the most important thing. You know what I mean? Because if you're forcing yourself to work out, let's say power lift, and if you're not really enjoying that, then it's really not going to do any good for you, right? You're really not enjoying it. It's not really like an escape. So it's going to do more harm than good. So I would say my biggest advice would be kind of, don't be afraid to experiment. You know what I mean? Go out there and try new things and see what works best for you and kind of what helps out.
Like you might not like it or like the idea of running, right? But if you go with a squad of like 6 or 7 of your friends, like maybe you talk the whole time, you don't even think about the running,
Yeah.
or you could still hate it. You're not going to know if you don't try it. But uh, in my experience with weightlifting, I would never have started if I didn't have friends who liked weightlifting. I was not necessarily afraid of the gym, but I didn't know what I was doing, and in that aspect, I was afraid. I probably wouldn't have gone if I didn't start going with friends.
No, and also if you find the wrong exercise for yourself and you keep forcing yourself to do things like that, then you're gonna start getting worse mental health because you're gonna convince yourself that you don't want to go and do that workout, which is gonna force you not to go and do exercises, which is just gonna make your mental health just
It's
stabilize
just
and
yeah,
just
it's
stay
gonna
in the same.
compound in your head.
Yeah, and it's not gonna, and you're just gonna be stuck there. And the last thing you want to do is get stuck. No one likes to be stuck. Well, yeah, I'm going on to the next question.
Cool. So the next question we asked him is, how would you tell somebody that If they're afraid to be judged at the gym, how do I get over that? How do you take away that thought of, hey, everybody's eyes are going to be on me. I don't want to go.
Yeah, of course, of course. So I mean, the biggest thing I want to put out here is just that it takes, take it day by day, right? I mean, we all when we all start off, we all have that gym anxiety. It's completely normal. I mean, we're obviously trying something new that we're not used to, so there's a lot of fear behind that, right? Especially with gym intimidation, right? Like, what are people going to think of me? What are they going to say? So you have all these thoughts that are just cramming into your head and are just making it a lot worse. So I mean, one of my biggest advice I have a few is actually just, go with a friend, something simple as going with someone who is going to help push you and motivate you. You know what I mean? And then also be prepared when going to the gym, right? So don't go in there not having a plan, right? So going in there having a structured workout plan and knowing exactly what you need to do and then just execute that. Another thing that helped me when I started off, because I can relate to that before getting into a big corporate gym, what I did was I started off actually at a small gym, right? So I found the smallest gym that I could find, and I would work out there for about 3 to 4 months until I felt, mentally ready to actually step out of my comfort zone and actually go into a bigger gym. Because you're when you go to a new gym, you're going to see a lot of people be staring at you. You might think that you're not performing a certain exercise right. But the biggest advice I could give is just start, right? Go in there and do your absolute best. And like I said, have a gym partner. You know what I mean? Go have a plan. You know what I mean? If going later at later times, whether that be first thing in the morning or going really late at night, whatever's really going to help you, take that first step. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy. I think everyone should be, incorporating some sort of physical activity, but don't let, others people's thoughts and stuff like that get in the way, because I promise you we all start from somewhere, right? And like I said, just surround yourself with people who are gonna uplift you and motivate you and help you take your fitness journey to the next level. You know what I mean? And just obviously the first step is getting into the gym. So yeah, that's kind of one of my biggest takeaways from that. So
You know what my favorite one of my favorite pictures is? There's this guy who was, I would say, over not overly obese, but he knew that it was people would have eyes on him. And he would go with one of his friends, and his friend would dress up in crazy costumes.
I've seen that.
You've seen
Yeah.
that, right? And other people's eyes would be on the guy in the crazy costume and not the man who was overly obese working out. And like he said, going with a friend can really change a lot, because when I could say that me working out with my friends gives me more motivation to work out even harder, because it's not like a comparing you and your friend. It's more like kind of like a competition. It makes it a little bit more fun. It makes it a little bit more exciting. It makes it just feel like it's not all eyes are on me. Oh, all of my workouts, all everyone's staring at me. And that's what's important is don't allow yourself to overthink and push yourself out of your workouts, but enjoy what you're doing, because again, this is something that's good for your mental health. It's supposed to help, and it will help if you can just focus.
Yeah, realistically, the people who, most of the time it's when you're going to the gym for the first time, you're afraid of people who have been there for a long time, what they might be thinking, again, eyes on me. Realistically, 99% of people, 99.9% of people do not care. They are more excited to see you in the gym, whether you're struggling with you're overweight, you're underweight, you have a disability. They even me, like, I seek encouragement from those people when I see them at the gym. They are there making a change for themselves, and just like I am. It's incredibly motivating, and even like, when those people ask questions, don't be afraid of that. Like, that people love 99.9% of the time to answer those questions. It makes them feel good about themselves too. Not just because they're helping you, but because, like, hey, they feel like, wow, you came to me for a question out of everybody here. Like, people love to see everybody in the gym. There might be that one guy every now and then, but nobody likes that guy. Fuck that guy.
I might disagree. I'm gonna disagree with Will right here a little bit. I won't say it's 99.9. I would say it's more 80/20. I have seen people at the gym who are overly confident, very they, when they see somebody at the gym that's may not know what they're doing, they get they laugh at them in their head, because they're like, oh, this person's trying to do this workout and look at the way he's doing it. But those kind of people are so over egotistical that for them to do that is because they're jealous of themselves, or it's something else that's going on in their head that's making them do that. It's not you, and don't allow that to hurt you, but allow that to fuel you. I I've been laughed at in the gym. I'm not gonna lie. When
Hell yeah.
in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing half the time, and it's hard because you're scared to go ask a question, so you're gonna try to do the workout, but you're doing the workout wrong. And I've seen people point. I've seen it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you about like, oh, the gym's a happy fairy tale of a place and no one's judging each other. No, people do, but
Fuck those people. They're
I
dicks.
agree. Fuck those people.
That's what I'm saying.
In terms of those statistics, though, you do go to like a bigger gym.
I do.
I go to a very small, like community friendly gym. So like
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
gym's very different
So
statistically.
just go to
Everybody's
smaller
nice.
gyms.
Yeah, like just like Alex said, like start off if you're afraid, start off at a smaller gym. Like people there, like everybody tends to like I don't know everybody, but like everybody knows each other. Like it's like, oh, I've seen that guy here, like he's nice, or I've seen that
Yeah.
girl here, like she's nice.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you on that point, though.
It was kind of crazy. Um, Now that you said that, first of all, I'm gonna start off with you. Kind of like saying like
Oh,
first going off like to the gym. I remember this was back in college, my freshman year in college. I remember when I first went to the rec center. That's basically it's SIU rec center is basically everything's in there. But I remember going alone. So when I went alone, I didn't know anybody there, and that was honestly like the most frightening task ever because even before I even left, I would always go to the gym with my friends at the same thing, the community rec center, right? So then, like, that was basically kind of like my safe haven. I'm with the guys, I'm having fun, I'm working out, basically doing everything with them. But then once when I left and I went down there, it was so different. I just felt so alone. So like usually, like my coping way was, I'm just gonna throw on headphones. I shot around things like that. I did that for maybe like a month straight, and then I just decided that you know what, like I'm gonna go without headphones because I want to try to see or try to interact with people. So I still went, try to interact. Nobody really didn't say anything, but like at the same time, like I was not gonna let that bring me down or like let that affect my mental health. Cause like you know what, one day someone's gonna find the bright within me and be like, you know what, this kid, he's out here, he's working, but at the same time, like like wants to be friends as well. So maybe like a week later, I found my first friend there, and basically like we started going to the gym together on a daily, and then after that, we started hooping together, which it was fun. But even before I met him too, Sina, as you said, when going into the weight room, and then basically like as someone like that, basically that 20% person who's basically a dick, and it just like kind of like makes fun of people. I actually had that experience. So like I was basically doing. The one when you sit down, those are the butterflies when you go like this, right?
Yes.
So I was doing the butterflies, and basically like I don't know what I was doing. I didn't even know what I was doing. So I was doing it incorrectly, and like in the corner of my eye, I could tell the guy was staring the whole time. Like, so then I basically made eye contact and just stared at him when I was doing my workout, and basically like he was giving me this face, like kind of like all like basically what are you doing? Like you're doing it all wrong. Like basically trying to like shun me down. I'm just like okay, whatever. So like at first it did affect me, but then in the end, like maybe like a couple minutes later, I was like, you know what? I was like, I thought to myself, everybody has been at one point in time in the beginning stages where they're doing everything wrong. And so, for him to be laughing, I just thought to myself, at one point in time, you were doing it wrong too. So I don't know why you here laughing or trying to like bring me down and all that type
that's
of
true as
stuff.
fuck.
That's what I'm
Sorry,
saying.
language, but like,
Hey, if you are that dick in the gym and you do see somebody doing a workout wrong, go up to them and just be like, hey, dude, like, I see you doing it like this. I do it like this. I just wanted to express what the kind of workout I'm doing. I just wanted to make sure you don't injure yourself. Like, because I've injured myself plenty of times doing the wrong workout. But if you are that dick, it's it's not okay to be the dick. And I don't want to come here and tell you to continuously be the dick, but some people just don't know what they're doing, man. And sometimes it's better to help than to laugh.
Be the
Because
bigger person.
be the bigger person, man. It's
Hmm.
not hard. I know you can do it. So and then maybe this is how the frog turns into the prince, I guess, because he stops being a dick and becomes a better person that helps other people.
Yeah.
You know? Who knows?
And then with our next question, we asked him, As a personal trainer, you have many clients. You see a lot of people, right? What are some things you tell them kindly to get over their fears in the gym or in these kinds of public situations where you are working now?
So one thing that I always, when I have a consultation with my clients and I kind of go over the game plan, something that I ask them is, what is your why, right? Why are you doing this? You know what I mean? So let's say block everything else, right? Forget what people are going to think, forget about the gym, forget about that, but ask yourself, like, why are you doing this? What's your purpose behind working out, right? And really journal that down, write that down, and really visualize that, right? And I think by doing that, you really get clear headed, right? You're like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm doing this for me, right? Who cares what people think? I know it's not going to be easy, but, I'm going to take that first step, right? Because, like I said, you got to take action, right? So that's kind of what my piece of advice would be is, can I ask yourself why? If you're starting off and you're afraid of what people are going to think, you block all that. You know what I mean? Just focus on your purpose, focus on why you want to do something, right? And why you want to accomplish a certain goal. And then you take actionable steps when obviously surrounding yourself with people that are going to help you, right? Whether that be doing extensive research online, not necessarily hiring a coach, right? But if you need to go online on YouTube, there's a lot of great resources that are going to help you. Um, make that first step, right? Because even though it may feel like you're alone, you're not. You're not alone, right? So I think we can definitely there's going to be obstacles, but I think there's a lot of solutions to that. So I think if you're, starting off, ask yourself why you're doing it.
I think that's the most important thing, is finding your why.
Yes.
And that's for anything, but
Yes.
specifically, just like he said, finding your why, and especially for me, finding my why. The best way to find your why, or the best way to phrase your why, is put it in terms of yourself and not in comparison to others. Like, why do why do I want to look a certain way? Uh, it's because I want to be healthier. It's not because I want to show off to people. It's not
Hmm.
because this or that, comparing to other people. When your why is internal and it's for yourself, that why is so much better, and it will drive you, and it will drive whatever you're doing, workouts, basketball, on sports related, anything.
Just figure it out. I mean, it's a lot of self awareness and understanding who you are and what you want. In the end, figuring out what you want in life, whether it's self confidence, whether it's, sure, bigger muscles, abs, whatever you personally feel is a goal to achieve, you can do it. Just don't allow yourself to overthink and to pull yourself out of that feeling of, oh man, I can't go to the gym because of this. I can't go to the gym. Just focus on your why, just like Alex said, and you'll get there.
We need Shia LaBeouf in here. Just do it.
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Good. But
Just do
just like he
it.
said too, if you're afraid of talking to people in that aspect, start on YouTube. Like, that's a big number one with how I started. It was figuring out things. Other than going with friends, it was when I wanted to learn something, I'd look it up on YouTube. Like, if I didn't have anybody with me. Like, that is 100% a very good way of doing things. You have the internet.
You do. And the next question we ask him is, for the people who are starting at the gym, especially the people who are afraid to be social and have a conversation in the gym, what are some things that you would tell someone who wants to go to a personal trainer but just doesn't know how?
Yeah. So like I said, something as a friendly chit chat, you know what I mean? Not right off the bat, you're trying to say, I need a trainer, let me hire you. But just kind of build that rapport with that trainer or whoever you're looking to, hire on to how to help you take that next step in your journey, right? So whether they be on social media, shoot them a message, keep up with their content and see if you know how genuine of a person they are, if you think that they can help you reach their goals. And if you feel it, feel like that, then just like I said, maybe reach out a little bit, but just a simple like message, DMs can go a long way. But it doesn't necessarily have to be like, hey, I need to get in shape, right? It all starts with trust, right? I think that's the important thing, especially when you're gonna hire a coach. I think you look for someone who's gonna help you out and be able to build that trust with, right? I think that's the most important thing, because if you don't trust that person to get you the results, then you know what I mean. That's a whole different story. So I would say, like I said, just simple steps, build rapport with that trainer or whoever you're looking to hire on, whether it be online as well. And yeah, and just keep it like that and just take those small actionable steps to get there.
And like Alex said, small steps is what starts everything. These small steps, the conversations that you need to have, just going up and saying hi, just figuring out what works for you. And if you're afraid to talk to them, Maybe have a friend go up and talk to them for you, and and that's not the worst thing in the world. But I personally think if you take the small steps and just ask them a question, I don't understand like how bad asking a question is, because even if it's a stupid question, I've I haven't I've been asked plenty of stupid questions at the gym. I'm not gonna lie to you, but there's nothing wrong with stupid questions. I just think that we start overthinking these questions, and that's when we start getting nervous, and that's when we lose the feeling of I need to I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't be like that. When a personal trainer is there to help you, and it's to build trust. And I promise you, I every personal trainer has probably heard the craziest questions. So, how crazy could your cause how crazy could your question really be? The next question we asked him is there such thing as working out too much? Has this happened to you? What would you categorize as being in the gym too often?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is obviously listen to your body, right? If you're feeling sore, you're feeling like you just can't, work out the next day, then don't do it, right? Kind of take yourself a rest day, give yourself time to rest. Because I mean, as more of an advanced, lifter, you kind of get in this mindset where like I need to train every single day, right? But then you kind of get to a point where you're like, you know what? It's like let's train smart, right? Let's train smart and hard. But let's kind of calculate when our rest days how many rest days we need throughout the week because it is important, right? It is very important that we allow our bodies to get the appropriate rest time, right? So that way we're able to perform even better when we go to the gym again. Because it's happened to me too, where I live 7 days a week, and then you know what, my body's just like defeated, right? I'm like, okay, I need to take a little bit of break, right? Because let's say you decide to be stubborn and continue working out, that's where injuries come in, right? You don't want to do that. You don't let your muscles repair like the way they need to. And obviously, nutrition plays a huge role, and sleep. So, kind of listening to your body. I think that's the biggest thing is listening to your body. And even though you feel like, okay, I don't want to take a rest day because like I love hitting the gym, it's so good for my mental health. It's just, I don't like being home alone. I think kind of like planning out your week and then kind of being disciplined, right? Kind of sticking with a consistent schedule, figure out what works best for you and allow your body to get that rest that it needs because it's very important, and learn when to turn off that on and off switch.
Rest is key. Rest is key. Your body needs rest to form the muscles that you just worked so hard to in the gym. Your body needs rest because at that time, rest allows it to repair. I mean, I think it's the same thing with basketball, wouldn't it? If you don't have the rest, you're gonna feel sore. Your shots are gonna get off. You won't be able to make that 3 point because your arm just can't get to that point of where it was shooting.
Yeah, there's a big difference. But it's still at the same time the same thing. Like as in like weightlifting is so different than basketball, right? But the same aspect applies.
I think it's relatable with anything, like not just exercise. Like if you keep on doing the same thing and being like overly consistent with something, you just kind of get used to it, or your body gets used to it, and it you just your progress just really plateaus, and it just it's it's just you almost don't do yourself any favors when you overdo something in a specific category. So you always need to take that break, take that rest period in order for yourself to either reflect on what you've done, what you could do better, let your muscles heal so that you can continue to grow them. But I mean, I think with anything in life, you can apply that.
Yeah, no, your brain needs rest. Your brain needs to sleep. It's part of our body, part of the system. So make sure get rest. It's important. Don't push yourself too hard because if you do, you're gonna get injured, and if you get injured, you're out for longer. And if you're out for longer, your mental health could decline.
Yeah,
So
the injuries suck.
injuries are tough.
I'm gonna spare the story, but in college, I tore both of my labrums and my shoulders at the same time,
Oh my
and it
god.
took me out of the gym for a month. And during that whole month, I couldn't raise my arms higher than this. So when I walked,
Oh
I had to walk like
no.
a penguin. Like,
Oh my
like
god.
I was just in that mindset of like I want results faster, and caused injuries. And now you're out more. Your mental health is now worse. You know, like it's just too much. There's a such thing as too much.
Don't become a penguin.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
don't become a so, so another question that we asked Alex was, as a trainer, do you deal with any body dysmorphia? Is this something you see at the gym regularly?
Yeah, so body dysmorphia, I think we all deal with that from like to a certain degree, right? Because with my personal experience, I mean, I've naturally always been very lean. I've always been very skinny, right? So I always been fixated on the scale, right? I need to be 170, 175. And when I'm not around those numbers and I just start really focusing on the scale, I start really contemplating with the way I look, right? Even though I probably have built some muscle, right? And that's why it's very important to keep track of progress pictures and stuff like that and other biofeedback, because if you're solely focused on the scale or even all that, it can really take a toll, which like it did with me. A lot of people when they look themselves in the mirror, they probably think they're skinny, even though they're probably not, right? And it's obviously not normal for us to be that way. But I think that everyone, like I said, goes through that to a certain degree. And like I said, with my personal experience, it has been with the weight scale. It's been for the longest time. Sometimes I can't even step on the scale without ruining my whole day. And it's gotten a lot better, but I think like 2 years ago, it's something that I couldn't even weigh myself because I knew if I weighed myself, it would just take a mental toll on me and it would just like ruin my whole day. It would set the tone for the whole day. And, it's something that I've learned to cope with, you know what I mean? And something, I put the weight skill aside and I just started taking pictures, more videos, and kind of focusing on what really matters because in the end of the day, it's just a number.
Body dysmorphia, I think, really results from comparing yourself. I feel like that's where it really begins. Once you start comparing yourself to other people, to even yourself, when you look yourself in the mirror and you don't see what you like to see, whether it's because you saw some big muscular man on Instagram and now you're frustrated with yourself because you're not seeing the same results, or whether it's you see somebody in the gym doing a crazy amount of weight and you don't understand why you can't do the same, you start going down this path of just continuously comparing yourself. And it's not fair to you. It really, really isn't fair to yourself because you're putting yourself against these mountains, I would say. And
Mountains of men.
mountains of men, sure. I mean, hey, I know plenty of women who compare themselves. Why don't I have as big of a butt as that girl does on Instagram? Why don't I have a flat stomach like that girl does on Instagram and the way she looks in the bikini? It all starts with you. You start comparing yourself to anything else, you'll lose. You start comparing yourself to yourself, you'll lose. Don't allow yourself to do that. And I'm going to tell you right here, right now, if you are going through the struggles of body dysmorphia, you're not alone. You can get past it. First, first, stop comparing yourself.
I want to be a little controversial.
Go ahead.
I
Please
just
do. Please do.
I have a love-hate relationship with comparisons. In that aspect, I think comparing is good, but people just think of it the wrong way. And not just that we've talked about in comparing yourself to others, because you shouldn't do that. And if you do, I still think it is okay in some aspects to compare yourself to others, but don't let it get to your head. What I more think in when I think of comparing is good is you shouldn't be comparing your today to somebody else's today. When comparing, the the most beneficial thing to me has been comparing my today to comparing my yesterday or my last week. How have I improved? How have I gotten slightly better than the day before, the week before? How have I progressed towards my goals? In that aspect with body dysmorphia, comparing myself in the gym to myself the day before. Hey, I'm not lifting, 400 pounds on the bench press, but I'm lifting 5 more pounds than I was last week or last month. That is and has been very beneficial to me. And I think in that aspect, people don't normally think that way. They think when you say stop comparing, it's comparing yourself to others. But I think people forget that comparing yourself to yourself, to your past self, is good when when you're making progressions towards your goals.
So it seems like you're saying that it's all about the mindset and how you look at it.
Yeah, and the brain is very unique in that way. And we talked about this a little bit. In nature, things seem to be repeatable, right? Like when we look at the stars, we look at galaxies, it's in pictures, it's very comparable to cells under a microscope in the human body. Things repeat in nature. And in that aspect, I think about like business all the time. Like with compounding interest, your brain works in that same way. And it works in your favor or not in your favor in a very unfair way or a very advantageous way in terms of thinking which however you're thinking. If you're thinking negatively, your brain is going to non-linearly adjust to those thoughts over just like compound interest would. As you keep thinking more and more negatively, it's going to go straight up and it's going to get tenfold, a hundredfold. You know, those thoughts are going to be hurting you so bad more and more and more over time. But on the other side, it's very advantageous to when you're thinking of yourself and comparing yourself to how you were getting closer to your goal. In comparison of getting to your goal or getting to that next step that is going to help you get to that goal in the future, it's going to work in your favor in that same linear fashion. The more work you do towards your goal, the more you see yourself improving, the more you think you're improving, the more you are going to be improving. And then the sooner you get to that goal and then make a new one even higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I just feel like you can't deny the fact that there are these kind of roadblocks, and I feel like especially towards like women too. Like you see like photoshopped images of women all the time, and of course they see it too, and like it
Even
gives
dudes,
them
people are fake.
yeah, I mean even dudes too, but I feel like especially more towards the women. Like
Yeah, it's
you
more
can't just say
common.
like, oh, you need to look at this and then tell yourself like, oh, it's good for me to reflect well on this, because a lot of the times, especially with women, it's just like when you compare yourself to something unrealistic, then you're going to set yourself unrealistic goals versus like I think you're thinking of more of like when we see something that is realistically that we can realistically accomplish, that then that would fall into line with what you were saying.
Yeah,
But
again, just
like
like what Cena said, I think. It's like
yes,
it depends on the mindset.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I think there's like two separate categories when
Oh
it
yeah.
comes to that.
I think also another hard part is you never really know what photos are photoshopped and what are not until you see it like badly photoshopped. You see a detail, but like
Yeah.
some photos, I'm gonna be honest with you, you truly can't tell if it's
Oh yeah.
photoshopped or
Dude,
not.
there's a huge movement right now. I don't know if you guys see it on social media. I see it all the time now, but it's more so with women. They'll do like the classic like Instagram pose for like whatever to look really, really good in however way. And then the second photo they post is like them sitting naturally. Like
Yes.
like like
Yes, I have
you
seen
can
Yeah.
those.
see you know the wrinkles or the curls or whatever. And nothing bad about that, but it's good to show people like, hey, like this person these are the two same people. This person you might say is like 10 out of 10, and now because she's sitting normally, she's 6 out of 10. These are the same people. And
Right.
that really shows people like, hey, people they don't even need Photoshop, just the way they pose, the way the lighting is, the
Yeah.
way when they take the picture after the
Mm.
gym, when you have a full pump, like everything looks normal, but and that's realistic. But it's also at the same time very, very, very specific circumstances.
Yeah. And we just want to tell all the women out there, you're beautiful, you're loved,
I love you.
and you're not alone. On to the
Exactly.
next question.
Well said.
Sweet. So the next question we asked him is body dysmorphia feels like it's becoming more and more important to understand and learn how to cope with it. So what would you recommend as far as tactics how to cope with body dysmorphia?
Yeah. So, like I said, the biggest thing is obviously taking pictures and video, right? And obviously, when it becomes a habit, right? Let's say if you're weighing yourself every single day. So, we got to slowly break that habit, right? So, for a client who comes to me and says, I need to weigh myself every single day, right? Or I can't, whatever the case may be. So either so if they're weighing themselves every single day, right? Because they're just obsessed with the weight scale. So what we do is we kind of break it down to like 4 or 5 days, right? Or 3 days. Instead of just eliminating it completely, we kind of take it slowly, right? So like I said, it's baby steps. I mean, you're not going, it's if it's a habit, if it's something you've been doing constantly, then it's going to be kind of hard to break. So something that what I do with my clients is that we kind of take a step back from that. It's not such a okay, we're eliminating the weight scale, right? But we take actionable steps, and that's something that I keep going back to. But it's like I said, it's those baby steps that are going to lead to big changes, right? And I've seen a lot of improvement, right? And especially with their mental health, I know how much it can take a toll on someone's, what I mean, mindset, right, and how they look. So I think just by taking those small steps, like I said, taking pictures, taking videos, or you know what I mean, even some reassurance. Like I said, having a coach can be very beneficial, someone else looking at your body besides you, because obviously you look yourself every day in the mirror, and it can be very difficult to be like, all right, I'm making progress, right? Or instead you look in the mirror like, oh my God, I'm not big enough, I don't have bigger arms, you know what I mean? So it's good to kind of get someone else's perspective, maybe a loved one, someone who, maybe a workout partner, and kind of ask them their input on how you look on a weekly basis, right? Hey, how am I doing? You know what I mean? Kind of like that reassurance, but then also have like videos to back it up, right? Because it'd be so, I mean, it's happened all the time with my clients where they take a picture and I said, all right, for this week, don't weigh yourself, but let's compare the pictures and the differences. And most of the time it's amazing, you know what I mean, the changes that you can see within 1 week, because weight fluctuates at all times, right? And there's a lot of factors that play into that. But yeah, so I think that's kind of a piece of advice I can give you, instead of just trying to cut it back out completely and just throwing the weight scale away, is just to slowly practice, you know what I mean, making your way to that point, so
He has a good point where he says you look at yourself in the mirror every single day. You're not going to see the changes in your body because you see the same thing every single day. And so, what again, what Alex said is sometimes you need to get another perspective. You need somebody else to see what's going on. And again, that starts with just simply asking the question of, hey, what do you think of this workout? Or how do you feel about this? Or what can I do differently to help my body do this? All starts with the first question. Just start off. Just maybe even make a list of questions that you would love to ask a coach. Maybe there's been things that in your head that you've been thinking about that you just haven't been able to ask, and now it's your chance. So the next question we asked Alex is, how do I swallow my pride and look to get a personal trainer and say I need your help to push me to the next level?
and that's a really good question, man. I think I just got off the phone with a client that I just enrolled, and this person's been lifting for 5 years, right? And the thing that I told him, he even communicated with me, was like, I needed to drop my ego, right? And I said, well, there's a reason to why you're on this phone call with me, because he was very hesitant to signing up. And then we just kind of dig deeper and kind of see, what is the reason to why, maybe he needs a coach, right? Because or else you wouldn't be on a phone call with me. And I think we all get to a point in our journey where, coaches need coaches too, right? And sometimes you just got to swallow your pride and be like, you know what, I need help, right? And for me, I mean, I worked with plenty of coaches as well. So someone who always preaches to hire a coach and better yourself and invest in yourself, I've done it many times, many times. And I think I think everyone needs that. I mean, I think everyone needs a coach, or at least someone who you can connect with, right? And you feel like you could learn a lot from, right? Because like I said, you probably know things that I don't know. I could pick your brain, you can pick mine. And that's the beauty of it. We're not perfect, but we're both two different human beings, but we know two different things, right? Let's say we're both experts in our fields, but maybe I know a little bit more on the nutrition side or strength training,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be, or vice versa. So it's always good to go in with an open mind, right? And once you put your pride aside, once you put your ego aside, you'll realize how much further, coaches and mentors can take you. You know what I mean? They can really level up your life. You know what I mean? In the sense it could be business, working out, but I think just doing your research, right? Doing your research, and what is it that you like about that person, right? Because you may really connect with that person, and then, you know what I mean, and based on what they're learning, you can also learn a lot from them, right? So it's not like it's a win-win situation here, because you're getting the results that you want, right? You're putting your ego aside, but then after you're done working with that coach, everything that you learn you can take away, and then apply it to every other aspects in your life, whether that be helping another person, passing that information along, or even within yourself, or sharing that information to the internet. You know what I mean? So I think everyone should at least hire a coach, or at least look into one if they're looking to better themselves, or kind of take it to the next level, right? And obviously doing your research.
I've been working out for 8 years and I recently just got a coach, and I've seen drastic changes in not only my body, but my workouts. I gotta say, I don't care how long you've been working out, 10, 20, 30, whatever amount of years that you've been working out. You're a crazy bodybuilder. I truly don't care. But we all need help. And sometimes you never know what you're doing wrong if
Yeah,
you
you
can.
don't even know if you need help, or you don't even know what you need help. Sorry.
No, no, you're completely right. You never know what you need help with. Mine was diet. I needed to fix my diet. I was not looking good. I know that for a fact. And so what I did was I had to ask a coach. I had to figure out a way to help myself. And my coach completely changed my diet around, and I feel 10 times more confident in my body than I ever have. So I got to tell you, man, honestly, I know you've been working out for years. I know you think you know it all. I know you probably think that no one's going to teach you anything, but don't look at it like that. Look at it as a new learning experience.
Yeah, maybe they learned something from you too. For me, it's like the gym aspect is what I struggled with. Nutrition is what I studied in school, and eating better. I was very I had never worked out, very overweight kid. Nutrition was the first thing I learned. But in terms of like, exercising, like I didn't know how to do it. Like I came to my friends, I came to personal trainers, and even after personal trainers, I bought courses. Like there's things you can do on how to improve, like you can lift weights, but after a certain amount of time, like if you're not doing that correctly or correctly progressively overloading, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna plateau.
Yeah, no one wants to plateau.
You know what's crazy? You know who's the first person I learned how to do proper technique with? You.
My boy. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
actually curious though with basketball. Were you always into basketball in that aspect, or did your cousins get you into it?
No, I was always into it, but
Okay,
I learned like progressing even more. I learned it from my cousin
yeah, because I just
more.
know like they're like hardcore ballers.
Yeah. Okay, and then on to the next question. We also asked Alex, how would you define mental toughness? When you're having a bad day at the gym and you're looking to bounce back, what do you do?
So yeah, so I guess it's like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's just, getting it done, right? So whatever your goals are, and then having, like you said, discipline to accomplish those goals, because we all have bad days. There's moments where I don't even want to get out of bed, right? You don't even want to crawl out of bed and go to the gym. But I guess it's where, that's where discipline comes in, right? And because motivation comes and go, right? It happens to all of us, right? One day you're feeling super motivated, and then other days you're not. So I guess it's like I said, it's just relying on your discipline and kind of taking those steps forward to, getting into the gym and doing what you need to do, right? So I always have this 10-minute rule with my clients where if they're not having the best day, right, they're not feeling like working out. I said, well, try it out for 10 minutes, right? Go to the gym, give it your best for 10 minutes. And if it's not working out and it's truly not working out, you're really not feeling good, then okay, go home. Go home and we'll try again tomorrow. Right. But most of the time, they're in there, they get it done. They're like, you know what? I'm so happy that I did this for 10 minutes. I got to the gym and I made it happen. And this can apply to anything as well. Right. So let's say there's a certain task that you really don't want to do, right? So, and you just know it needs to get done, but like you just don't feel like doing it, do it, start it for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. And then once you get into the groove of things, you'll realize that like, okay, look how much I've actually accomplished within those 10 minutes, when I can actually do this. But if you're feeling like burnt out, you feel like you just can't do it, then I would step away and then try again tomorrow. Right? There's nothing wrong with that.
It all starts with good habits. It all starts with just 2 minutes. Atomic Habits by James Clear. He says in the book, the only way to really push yourself in a bad day is just get into the gym for 2 minutes. Because once you're in there, you're going to work out. And even if you work out for 5 minutes, like Alex said, 10 minutes, whatever, and you're personally not feeling it, sure, leave. That's your decision. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you can say is that you worked out. Even if it was 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. You stepped into the gym. And not only am I proud of you for getting in there, but hey, if you had a bad workout, happens. I have plenty of bad workouts. Even on my great days, I've had bad workouts. But on my bad days, I've had a great workout.
Dude,
So,
bad days with good workouts, it happens.
oh,
Somehow it
it's
happens,
always the
and it makes
best.
the rest of your day better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, hey, just step into the gym, create good habits. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I like that. I like what he said about the motivation too. Motivation will not last forever. After maybe a month, you get bored of it, but you keep going. That's pushing past your motivation. I like to think about it like water cuts through rock because of consistency, not
Yes.
because of power. Like you will keep going.
What kind of mental strategies do you personally employ or tell your clients when dealing with the negative and positives in the gym?
Yeah, so something that I've been doing recently for the past, like I said, 6 months, beginning of the year, I've been doing a lot of journaling, a lot of meditating. It's actually helped tremendously. At first, it's very maybe kind of confusing, right? Because it's like, okay, I've never done this before, and how to do it? Like, what am I supposed to do, right? So, like I said, a little bit of extensive research. I reached out to people who do this on a daily basis, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a try, right? I'm going to give it a try for a week, and if I don't like it, fine. But what I do is I meditate for 5 to 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes in the morning, and then I take maybe like a 10-minute meditation halfway through the day. And it really helps with my anxiety. It really helps out too. So sometimes when I have a lot going on, it can be a lot to cope with, right? I just end up getting really bad anxiety. I get blurred focus. I can't focus in it at all. So what I do is I take some time out of my day to really just sit down and meditate, and then after that, I also like to journal as well. And then journal could be anything from like positive affirmations, you know what I mean? Or just anything that's honestly going through your mind. So it doesn't have to be perfect. There's no set in stone rule on how to do this. But I think kind of journaling your thoughts and how you're feeling at that very moment can be very impactful, right? Or even like looking yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what, I'm badass, right? Or like it's gonna be okay. Like it's going crazy right now, but I'm gonna get my shit together. And I think everyone should at least experiment with it. You know what I mean? It's not always for everyone, but kind of find what works best for you, whether that be, going on a walk, you know what I mean, going on a bike ride, hanging out with loved ones. But as far as like when you're by yourself, I mean, even reading, I mean, it can be very therapeutic for some people. But like I said, the two things that have helped me tremendously is definitely meditating and journaling. It kind of keeps my thoughts together and kind of keeps me composed. And it's been helping me out for a while.
Quick thing for our listeners, we did an episode on meditation. It was the first episode of season 3. Go back and check it out. It'll teach you a lot about how to meditate, what meditating does for your mental health. And Mr. Will Black here
It's pretty rad.
explains his experience with meditation. But continuing off of what Alex said, journaling, I've heard from plenty of people, helps them a lot. Journaling, personally for me, doesn't work. Um, but for other people, I've heard so many things that journaling really, really helps them. So if it's something that you haven't tried yet, give it a shot. I mean, I gave it a shot. I'm not very good with words. And then I'm always like looking at the word, misspelling something, and being like, well, I just misspelled. Um, but as he's continuing explaining the positives and negatives of the strategies that you can do to really help your mental health, remember that there's a lot of things that you can personally do. You just got to figure out what works for you. So, meditation work and journaling work for Alex. I enjoy working out and I really, really enjoy reading. So, those are two things that really help me. Anybody else have any strategies?
Whatever it is, it just matters that you start it, just like you said.
Facts.
You're not gonna know if you don't try.
On to the next question. We asked Alex, what would you go back and tell yourself as a person just starting to work out at the gym?
Yeah, I would definitely tell myself like it's okay to fail, right? And be patient, right? And it's all a process, right? It's all trial and error. I think that we as human beings we try to be perfect, right? We try to do everything right. And in that case it's not going to happen, right? And looking back, I mean, I've been training for over 8, 9 years now and looking back at that, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes, you know what I mean? I made a lot of mistakes, but it's made me and shaped me for the person that I am today. And now, having the opportunity to share my knowledge and everything that I've learned and kind of implement in my clients, it's something that, like I said, it's very fulfilling. But like I said, it's trial and error, right? And I know a lot of people may be intimidated to go to the gym, especially when, like you said, body dysmorphia, right? That's something that you're like, well, why do I want to work out then if I'm going to be end up having body dysmorphia? Well, I think like I said, it's all your perception on it and your perspective. And sometimes, like I said, it sucks, right? It happens. You don't even realize that you might have it, right? Because one thing, you're training, it's all fun and games, but then once you start looking more at a competitive level, right, and you're taking things a little bit more serious, that's where you start comparing yourself, having body dysmorphia. I mean, social media really doesn't help that either, right? Depending if you have a certain fitness influencer that you're looking up to, it can be very difficult to try to um, probably reach those goals just because they're probably pro athletes, right? They're enhanced, right? And you don't know that. I mean, starting off, that's I looked up to certain bodybuilders, and obviously they were not natural, and it's something that I kept talking down to myself, thinking I can never achieve that, I can never achieve that. But then once I realized like I'm on my own journey, I got to focus on that. I think that it's helped a lot. So like I said, have a big reason why. You know, what's your why to why you're doing things, and kind of remind yourself that on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And really take those small actionable steps there to get you there.
What I would have told myself was stay consistent, focus on diet, and don't let the outer world hurt your inner world at the gym. It's not going to help. Social media, looking at a bunch of guys who are extremely muscular, not going to help. Just going to make you feel worse about yourself because you're just like, why don't I have that? But maybe, again, like we discussed, mindset shift is what you need. Maybe you need to look at it in a different light. Maybe you do want to look at those pictures and tell yourself, I can do this. But again, be realistic with yourself, be honest with yourself. Don't allow other people to present an image to you that is unrealistic because there's a lot of images out there that are unrealistic.
Goals are really good to have. And, we talked about this a little bit before, but your goals are constantly going to change. You might achieve your goal or you might get past your goal and set up an entirely new one. But the most important thing is when setting goals is not to set unrealistic goals. Talking about how people look and comparing yourself to others, people, just like Alex said, they might be enhanced or they might have implants of any kind of sort, something like that. But when you set an unrealistic goal, and you set that as your goal and you don't achieve that, you hurt yourself mentally more than you're going to help yourself. Start off, if you're starting your first goal ever in some category, specifically in the gym, start small. When you achieve your goals, as small as or big as they are, it all feels the same. It feels great. But if you don't set achievable goals, when you don't hit that, it feels even worse.
Compounding, just like you said, small details will later end up changing so much about you. And it's all about the small details. Next question we asked Alex is what would you recommend to someone who's negatively affected by society's portrayal of the perfect body?
So one thing that I've done, you know what I mean? And we're talking about social media real quick. So something that I've done that, when I used to pick up my phone, right, and looked up in the morning and I saw other people's bodies, right, their progress pictures, it would give me like bad anxiety, right, or whatever they were doing. I was just like, well, like I'm not doing enough, or like if I'm taking a rest day. So one thing that's really helped me is there's actually like a mute feature on Instagram where you can unmute people's stories, so that way you're not being able to see their posts. I would honestly eliminate anything that triggers you, right? So anything that's probably going to get in the way of achieving your goals, eliminate it because you don't need that. Those are distractions, right? And accepting, you for who you are. I mean, it's a lot easier said than done, but once you start to realize, like, okay, like, you know what I mean? I have my full limbs. Like, I'm grateful. I'm thankful for what I have. I'm going to do my absolute best. You know what I mean? To work on this and see how far I can take it, right? And like I said, that's where hiring a coach, investing in yourself. If you're really looking to level up, hire yourself, hire a coach. You know what I mean? Do extensive research, do whatever it takes to, reach that goal, right? And do whatever it takes, honestly. But like I said, I think we all come to a point where we got to accept, genetics and everything. They play a huge role, and we do what we got to do with it, right? We got to work. We got to try our absolute best to overcome those obstacles. And like I said, what if there's things that trigger you on social media, things that aren't are doing more good than harm, doing more harm than good, I would definitely like eliminate those things as far as like, mute, unfollow, whatever it is that you need to do. But like I said, focus on yourself and, strive to be your best, always.
Always try to be your best. Always do your best. Again, motivation is extremely important. Finding a coach is extremely important. Muting someone, there's nothing wrong with it. If it truly triggers you, that's something that you need to figure out. What triggers you? Is it the photos? Is it the videos? Is it what the person's doing? What is it? I think you need to understand what you're feeling in that moment when you get triggered. So that begins the process of understanding not only yourself, how to better your mental health. Because if you mute somebody who's triggering you, or maybe Honestly, unfollow. We've gotten so stuck into a world where if someone unfollows you, someone mutes you, someone makes you, it's like an end of the world thing, and it's really weird. Not sure if anybody else feels like that.
I'm sure everybody, especially in this world, has gone through it.
Yeah,
Seriously, everybody.
I used to, but not anymore.
I mean, I've been there too. Don't get me wrong. If I saw a friend unfollow me and be like, "What the hell, man? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on? Like,
what kind of beef do we got?
why do you hate me? Like, what's going on?" If it's a very close friend, I think that plays in different. I think that's
Yeah,
a different story. But
Yeah,
if you truly like don't know the person and you don't like have any communication or have ever had conversation with something, again, you're creating this world for yourself that's just making your life harder and giving you bad mental health, making your mental health worse. It's like you're doing it to yourself to hurt yourself, and you don't want to do it because society or social media told you that it's going to make you feel some type of way. I don't know what else to tell you, man. If you don't, if it triggers you, unfollow or mute. Just do whatever's gonna help your better mental health. You owe no one. You don't owe anyone anything. You truly on social media, you don't owe
facts.
anybody anything. You want to unfollow somebody, unfollow them. You want to mute somebody, mute them. Don't make yourself feel bad because of the situation that you put yourself in. Don't, because that's what's gonna even hurt you even more. Do what's best for yourself.
Yeah, I think that was really well said. And so, in relation to that, we asked him as well, how did you discover that images on social media could trigger you? Was it you understanding who you were, or just kind of this feeling that you felt when you saw it?
I guess it was kind of like a little bit of both things, right? Combination of the two of those things. Like I obviously I was dealing with certain insecurities and stuff like that. And then when I saw someone performing better, maybe they were doing more weight, you know, it kind of like triggered me, right? And this was back in the past, especially when I first started. This was something that I dealt with where I would always compare myself and I would always try to do more, one up someone else. And I always like had this constant battle where I was like trying to compete with someone else when in reality you should be competing with yourself, right? Trying to better yourself. So when you start off your fitness journey, right, you start off as it's fun, you want to look good, but then it has like a weird twist to it where you're like you find yourself competing with someone else, right? You find yourself trying to lift more weight, trying to do that, but it doesn't work that way, right? And I learned that quickly that you're in there to better yourself, right? And obviously your mental health, especially if you're dealing with certain things, I think that that should be your main focus, right? And kind of eliminate those other things because it's easy to get caught up on like you said outside factors, especially social media.
I really like how he puts that. Everything based on your personal journey. The way society phrases things nowadays is you need to look a certain way, you need to lift a certain amount of weight. If you want to get a girlfriend, boyfriend, you need to do this. You need to uh, have this body. You need to make this much money. You need to have this job. And again, outside the gym with everything, it goes the same way. You're on your own personal journey and you don't owe anybody anything. That was very well said the way he put that.
And people will truly think that like your life is part of their journey, or you and somebody else are supposed to feel as if there's something going on. Or what I'm trying to say is this: you are on your own journey in life. You are on no one else's journey. I'm not on Cheyenne's journey. I'm not on Will's journey. I'm not on Brandon's journey. I'm on my own journey to figure out who I am, who I want to be, and where I want to get. So what I'm trying to say again is that live your life, don't compare yourself. Social media is just a tool. There's no such thing as the perfect body. You can argue with me till the day I die. There's no such thing as the perfect body. Because in my eyes, if I see something that's perfect, and Brandon sees something, he might not think it's perfect. Again, don't compare. Mm, Walk in your own shoes. Live your life, man.
Yeah, in terms of, on the topic of being triggered, it doesn't do good for your mental health. And like we said, unfollow those people and figure out what triggers you. I think just like Alex said at the beginning, like lots of more things will trigger you, especially in the gym. Like I'm used to it. I'm sure Cena, you're used to it. You know, outside the gym with anything, it affects everything. But I think mentally, a very healthy thing to do is at some point not just throw it under the bus, but understand why you feel that way, because then you can turn those things into a positive experience and you can truly understand within your own head why you feel this way. And maybe you give yourself something to get better at, something to get better on. Maybe you're afraid of asking questions, and now because you've understood what's going on in your head, you're more out there to ask more people questions and you learn more. And we talked about this time trade-off thing. They're just like with personal trainers. Those people are there to help you, and they've been doing this for 5, 10, however many years. Just because maybe you're bigger than them or you run faster than them, they still might know more, and you could maybe even teach them the same thing. Don't be afraid of challenges, but make sure that you're doing it in a healthy way. So we'll get into the next question. The next question we asked Alex is, how do you find your balance in life and in the gym? How did it improve your mental health?
Yeah, so I competed back when I think 2016, 17. I was only 19 years old. And I think it shaped me the person who I am today. It made me who I am because there was a lot of dark moments during prep. Obviously you need to find that balance, like you were saying, because once you become obsessed with the sport, especially if you're competing, you're doing competitively, that's a whole different ballgame. But once you start obsessing, like, oh, I can't go out with my friends or family because I need to eat my meals, right? Or I just need to isolate myself because I need to focus on just strictly weightlifting or whatever the case may be. And what really helped me was, telling myself that it's okay to take a break and then enjoy, the time with the loved ones, right? Enjoy yourself a few drinks, enjoy yourself some food, a burger, whatever the case may be. Because in the end of the day, you're able to bounce back from that. You're not going to gain 10 pounds of fat from that one day or even the weekend. And it's something that I always tell my clients as well, is that one bad day is not going to ruin your progress. And it's okay to find that balance, because we're not meant to work out 7 days a week, eat chicken and rice every single day. It's okay to have fun, go to festivals, go to the bar and drink, hang out, travel. It's okay to do those things, obviously in moderation, but have that balance, right? Allow yourself 1 or 2 days out of the week where you just unplug. And that's something that I do. The 2 days is Saturday and Sunday. So Monday through Friday I work, right? But Saturday and Sunday I don't take calls. I don't take calls. I take some time to enjoy with loved ones, right? My family, and I just disconnect, right? I try not to post on social media as much or scroll through the feed, and I just try to be present in the moment. And I think a lot of people will benefit a lot from that, because we're always attached to our phones. We're always checking to see who liked what is the latest person doing, you know what I mean? So I think having some time to like recharge, put your phone down and just connect with yourself on a deeper level, right? Like I said, going on a walk, journaling, meditating. But like I said, I think it's very important to know when to unplug and allowing yourself maybe 1 or 2 days during the week to do that.
He explained that when it comes to bodybuilding and prep and going down this dark phase, um, I don't have enough information to come and tell you what prep is like because I've never done it. I've never bodybuilded before. However, I have plenty of friends who are bodybuilders, and I've talked to them about it and what their mental strengths are when they're going through it. One of my friends had told me about his bodybuilding experience and how he went through prep. And he said that you need to truly be mentally tough to go through bodybuilding. And he said if you don't have that mental toughness, bodybuilding will be very hard for you. It will be extremely difficult because it takes a toll on your body. It truly does. However, if you set those kind of challenges for yourself and you want to reach that level of maybe reaching first place, second place, third place, whatever it is, and this is just presenting to bodybuilders, allow yourself to do whatever it takes to get there. But don't allow yourself to go through a dark phase, a dark path. If you see yourself going down that, maybe bodybuilding isn't for you. And I'm not here to say Alex, bodybuilding is not for Alex or whatever. I mean, we all have different challenges in our life. Things happen. Life is completely different for everybody. But if you personally set a high challenge for yourself and you want to reach that goal, you'll do whatever it takes to reach that goal. And if that is going through hard prep, you got to do what you got to do to reach whatever goal you want to do. So if that takes going through a dark path, if you're mentally tough and you're able to go through it, you can do it. I totally believe in you. But again, there's a very thin line between hurting your mental health and challenging your body to a different level. It's up to you on if you want to cross it. Hey man, I've heard bodybuilding is not for me because I'm personally, I'll say it on here. I'm not mentally tough to do bodybuilding. I don't think I'm capable of the prep. I don't think I'm capable of the intensive calorie deficits or whatever it is, and watching my food like that. I'm not able to do it.
I agree. I feel like I would be happy with the result, but getting there, I would not enjoy that experience.
No. And for everybody it's completely different, man. I've talked to plenty of bodybuilders who love the whole experience all the way through.
Those
And that,
people are wild.
yeah.
That like seriously, mentally tough. Like that's something else.
and and if you're not mentally tough, man, there's nothing wrong with not being mentally tough. Again, it's completely normal. That was just my disagreement.
But hey, try it. But again, you're not gonna know if you don't try it. That's
Facts.
you know, if you got a goal, try it. You don't like it, don't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just everything's just based on one's personal experience with something, but obviously nobody knows yourself better than yourself, so you just need to know when it's at this sort of toxic level and how to step away from that.
Yeah. Very thin line. Very thin line.
I don't even have the words for that thin line.
No.
Like, how do you describe that?
I
I can't. You know what I'm saying?
I think the way I would describe is mental toughness. I think that's the thing. That's the line. Like,
We just can't understand it because we don't have it.
it happens. On to the next question, and our last question for Alex. For newcomers at the gym, what would you tell them to better their mental health?
Yeah, I would say, like I said, take it day by day. I think allowing myself to be patient, allowing myself to, see the results that I want to see, but it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. And know that it's okay. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, like I mentioned before. So, kind of giving yourself that, what I mean, reassurance so that way you're able to kind of reach your goals, right? Because it can be very difficult. So, I mean, that's something that I could definitely advise those who are looking to start is just like I said, obviously take that first step, but then know that there will be obstacles and you're not perfect. You're not meant to be perfect. But it's always going to be better. It's always going to get better. Always become 1% better every single day. It's something that I always tell myself and something that I tell my clients.
Dude, favorite phrase one of my favorite phrases. Apologies. Day by day. In life, we always look so far into the future that we get lost, man. We get lost because we're so focused on the future that we lose what the present feels like. And if you're somebody who's new and you have no idea what working out is like and how to get started, day by day, one workout at a time, one gain at a time, one push up at a time, one lift at a time. Just take it all day by day. Don't allow yourself to think about the future. Oh man, what if I want to lift this, or what if I wanted to do that, or how to get this and how this. Stop. Stop. You're just overthinking day by day.
Oh, all right, when you said something and it sparked a thought in my head, and I wish I remembered the exact word that you said. But I think about it like, being in the present, thinking too far into the future, right? I heard something a while ago, and it just blew my mind. But think about like if we just lived in the present and we're happy every day in the present. Living in the present, you're happy with what's going on. Whether it's the same thing you did yesterday, you were happy because it's a new experience. Think about when you go on vacation you're you're having the time of your life, right? You're just living day by day. Maybe you're in Florida, you're supposed to go scuba diving and yeah, so it gets canceled, but then you go out on a boat and you just live it. You just enjoy it. What if you lived every day here like you were on vacation? Like just living in the present and enjoy like you've seen sand before, you've seen a tree before, but when you're on vacation it's
It's
fucking
magical.
wild, dude. What if
Yeah.
we lived every single like I don't know if I have that ability and but right now I don't think I do, but like what if we lived every single day in the present like we're on vacation, appreciating everything. Like that is so mind-boggling to me. Isn't that's awesome?
I,
Will's quote of
yeah.
season 3:
Yeah.
live every day like you're on vacation. I
Dude,
110% agree with
just
you, buddy.
Yep.
live in
I
the
agree with
present
that.
moment, man.
Yeah, and if we can all do that, then we would see a drastic uptick in our people's happiness.
And it
So,
all starts with you.
yeah.
So, hey, man.
I love you.
Well,
Love
I
you
love
too.
you all.
I think we all love you. So,
Yeah.
I think we only have one last reminder for you guys. Please, please, please remember, you are not alone.